Here it comes.
Powered by Riverside.
We're back. We're back.
All right, guys. 3 guys, many games. We're back.
Good to be back. Good to be
I'm
back.
Steve Sombrato. I'm here with the legendary GOAT, Vinny Sombrato. And do I have to actually call him the champion? The champion?
He's wearing the crown
Rob
for this
Smalley?
year.
He's actually the champion, the 2024 PLL pick champion, Rob Smalley, coming out of nowhere. Let's hear it. Let's hear it for Rob Smalley.
There you are, big man. This kid from Levittown, he did it. He made it.
What I ask is, I gotta ask Vinny. It isn't so bad for me. I don't really actually feel that bad. But is any part of you saying like you actually lost something to Smalley, Vin?
It hurts me. That was very bad because you had to, coming from you to Vinny, that was very hurtful. And almost like you're trying to get him back, Stephen.
No. He won fair and square. We finished one game behind him. It came down to the end, which was great that it came down to the last game. But if you recall the day we picked, you picked first.
He did.
He picked the
Smalley
opposite.
picked first, and then which one? The last game?
The last game.
Oh, yeah, I picked first, right?
Yes.
I picked the whip
you
snake.
picked the whip snakes,
right.
and he immediately went to the arches.
Yes, he did.
And if you remember what I said.
Wait a second. The week before that, I picked first, and I went 0-4.
This is what he does. We're talking about that week's gone. We're talking about the last pick.
I can't enjoy a victory, Stephen.
I just said you won, but I'm recapping what happened. We were all tied, weren't we?
Yes,
we were. It was a three-way tie.
It was a three-way tie going into the championship. Yes,
he had it almost locked in, but he went 0 for there. So we came back, and now we had a three-way tie.
Yes.
So we said Stephen picks first, and Stephen picked the whip snakes.
Yes.
Right?
Yeah.
Smalley, you didn't even get the S of the snakes out of your mouth, and he said, "I got arches."
Exactly.
Because he knew he had to go arches to have a chance to win, or else tie.
Wait a second. If it's a tie, and you guys are the best pickers.
If we would have tied, we would have tied. That would have.
No, but you guys are the geniuses in the business. You picked and you would have won.
Well, clearly,
no, you don't win if you got it. How could we win if it's a tie? If we would have tied, we would have tied.
It's picked the game. You guys both picked the team that could have won.
I know, but Vinny could have picked the Arches. He had a chance.
Yes. What I said to you, if you remember,
but he didn't think they were going to win.
I said I'm going to go with the whip snakes to give you a chance to win it by yourself. Isn't that what I said?
Oh my God! With an asterisk.
There's no asterisk. There's no asterisk. I had my choice to do what I did. But I said I gave you a shot to win it all by yourself. So you won.
He did win. Yeah. I mean, listen,
that
shows you.
And he came. Look, if you recap the year, I broke out to a lead. You guys caught me. Steven went up, then I went down, then Smalls went ahead, then he dropped down. It came down to the last game. It was a fun year.
I went 0-4. Yeah, it was good.
But I'm surprised you didn't come on the show with a big crown tonight.
I will say this though. Oh wait, I will say, first of all, 2 things. Don't you want to give it a Kevin Garnett, Smalls? Because you are the champ, and you remember what he said when he became the champ.
Go ahead, give it to us.
And I always think of my friend from my dear friend from Maryland, because I gave him that quote 3 years ago. Anything is possible. Oh my God!
So the other thing I want to remember, I think I actually might have it on video somewhere, because he was ready. He was ready in the box at Hofstra to pick the championship game. He was already picking Maryland at one point.
I know he was.
And he switched. and he
Well,
slipped.
he was under pressure in the box because
Vinny, do you have that thing?
Nardella was in the box with us and Zappatella. So
Yes,
he was going to go with Merritt. But like I said, you set the stage when you picked the Whip Snakes. He had to go Arches to give
right.
himself a chance.
That's true.
But
So
Vin,
let's.
you got that thing where Casey Powell's tent when we were upstate?
That's
Yeah.
right.
Put it on the thing.
I don't know how to play it on here now. I've sent it to you a million times. I can't put it on.
We'll put it in. We'll put it in a piece. We're gonna put it right in. I'm gonna
Yeah.
clip it
When
in.
we do our clips, when Steven
Yeah.
does his clips.
But let's get into the game a little bit because
Okay.
obviously it was Smalley's greatest day, and it didn't start off great for the Arches. They went down, 3-0 right off the bat.
Yeah, it's over.
Whip Snakes came out strong. Nardella looked strong at the X. I think he won. I think he ended up winning a pretty large percentage overall in the game. I think he was like 75%. And they came out scoring, and Arches definitely for that first quarter definitely looked a little unsettled. They weren't a lot of turnovers, and the second quarter got turned around. The game started to get turned around in that second quarter when that defenseman on Arches makes that play, chasing down a guy and checking him, and then bringing it down, scooping it, coming down, and ripping a 2-point shot for the Arches. If you remember that play, did you remember that play, Vin?
Yeah, but wasn't there a play where they got a 2-pointer and
Well, that was after. We'll talk about that one. But the one that the Archers got by the guy, what's his name, Woodward and Bernstein.
Is that who scored it?
Yeah,
Look,
and
Woodward and Bernstein, they're political guys.
The kid Woodward from Marquette.
Woodward and Bernstein, the two famous guys in
yeah,
politics.
2-pointer. He scored the 2-point goal. He actually took 2 shots in the game.
So, but here's the interesting thing about that play. Mac O'Keefe ends up out top, on that play. And I think the guy who ends up getting the outlet, because I think Mac took the shot. I think Mac takes a shot, and the goalie saves it cleanly, and he throws it out. He throws it out to the what's his name, the midi, who's recently been put on their team. The guy that was on the Water Dogs. What's his name again, Vin?
On the Water Dogs.
The guy who was added to the Whip Snakes late. He got traded for.
The kid from Virginia. Why can't I think of his name? I know who you mean, but it's bad that I can't remember his name. Conway.
Kieran McConnell.
No way. I'll tell you who it was. It is
Conrad. Ryan Conrad.
Ryan Conrad. So he ends up getting that outlet. He starts running where he's going to be running down the sideline. Mac O'Keefe actually kind of cuts him off where, for whatever reason, he could have really went around the outside of him. He turns it back to the middle of the field, him, and he goes to the middle. And because he goes to the middle, that defenseman is chasing him down and gets him to check from behind, puts it on the ground, goes down and scores that too. That was a big goal. Here he goes. What are you doing?
Good.
What are you playing with your phone for?
He's looking for anything as possible. I know.
I wasn't playing with my phone. The phones now, with the new encryption, the new phones have like AI. You can be talking about something, and
they just start talking by themselves. I know. Yeah.
So that goal, he chases him down because Mac O'Keefe gets him going the other way, and that that keeps that play away. That's good riding. Guy makes a great ground ball, goes down, takes that long shot, tough to read, changes the game. I mean, that's a big game changer.
That's lacrosse.
Score goes from 4-1 to 4-3 at that point.
Right.
And they add 2 more goals and go ahead. And they go ahead 5-4.
Who were the star players on? I don't even remember in that game for the Archers. Who?
Well, then the next thing that Vinny was alluding to is Maryland ends up with a little transition. Nardella throws it to the long pole. he takes a long shot, and we see one of the most unusual things, and I maybe think a little bit unfair in the game. We could debate whether or not it's unfair. He scores a 2-point shot, and they take it off the board for the head of the stick coming off the handle.
Whoa. What happened? Say that again for the viewers.
I know he's going to get excited about that, Smalley, right? He gets excited about
I want to
that.
hear this.
Texas Zebras.
They took a 2-point shot. He scored for the Whipsnakes, but they disallowed the goal because the head of the guy's stick came off
the shooter.
the shot. And they said, the head of the stick was off before the ball crossed. Clark actually made a good point. He actually made a good point. He asked Seth Tierney, what would have, he kind of asked him, like, what would have happened if the goal would have went in before the head of the stick came off, which I don't know is feasible as you're shooting because you think how close or far. Anyway, he really didn't answer the question, Seth, at the time. He just was like, stick came off. And
this was the Whipsnakes?
Yeah. At a critical point in the game. So that would have put them up a goal. And instead they were still down a goal with the goal disallowed. So, that's a key part. But what are your thoughts on the aspect of the unique rule that the goal is disallowed on the head of the stick coming off?
Listen, it's like when a guy's glove falls off, when a guy's helmet comes off. Usually they blow a play dead. If a guy's shot and the head flew off, I mean, I don't know if it's specifically in the rule book of a guy's head stick.
It is.
Let me set the record straight here, guys.
Then there's nothing to talk about. A rule's a rule.
Let me get the record straight here for the fans. All right, so what I would do is I would look at the play as a referee. Did the ball come out first, or was the ball laying in the stick as it was going out? Because if the ball came out first and then the stick flew off and it went in, it should be a goal.
Well, the ball came out first, and then
it's kind of simultaneous.
That is a little bit simultaneous.
Yeah, I mean, if you shoot a ball, the ball's going to go and the head's going to go at the same time. It's amazing that the ball went on cage with that kind of speed, with the head coming off. But it did.
Maybe I don't know if Smalley's making that argument, but that might be what he's saying is that the ball is out really before the head.
If the ball came out of the stick and the stick did not interfere with anything like that, it should be a goal.
It would have had to come out of the stick first, because if it didn't come out of the stick, it would have stayed in the stick in the head.
That's a crazy rule. You gotta. I mean, I would really.
Listen. It's bad luck. They missed. They didn't get it. It didn't cost. It was the second quarter, Stephen. First quarter.
Here's where I have a problem with the rule, Vin, and you tell me if I'm wrong. The problem I have with the rule is, you say it's essentially a broken stick. So we also saw, maybe in the same game, or maybe it might have been in the semifinals. I think it was in the other one of the semifinals. You see, I think it was Aiken. I think it might have been Aiken dodging a guy, and he gets jacked, and the guy breaks his stick.
Right.
And now it's a broken stick in the game. They didn't go, stop anything, no goals, no nothing. He runs by the guy as the guy's just trying to jack him with his hands, and he scores a goal. Now, how did the guy, like Smalley's saying, the guy shot, it was a messed up stick, but it was in the goal before, it didn't affect anything.
So what does it matter? Yeah, we're spending a lot of time on something. That's the rule. They applied the rule that the head flew off. It's not a goal, period. So that's it. It was only the, second quarter when it happened? They had a whole rest of the game to make up for it.
The only thing you could say is...
Vinny's a rule interpreter now. We got them.
Not much to interpret. Yeah, if a guy's the head flies off when a guy shoots, it's no goal. That's the rule, I guess. So that's it. What can you argue?
Yeah,
but listen,
I would argue generally the rule. I mean, that's one of those things that you look back and you say, as long as it doesn't affect, obviously, I think the danger of the broken stick is that you can hurt somebody with a broken stick, and would it have made a difference? Let me ask you this question, Vin. because they specifically said head of the stick. Is it any different? Let's imagine it's the long pole and he's cranking up, right?
Yeah.
He's cranking up, and the other guy whacks his stick as he's shooting it. He shoots through the other guy's stick, which we see happen all the time, and the guy's stick cracks in half, and the ball goes shooting out at the goal, and the half the stick is falling on the ground, and the ball goes in.
There should
Is
be
it
no
a goal?
goal.
No.
No, should be no goal.
Why?
The same as the head coming off if the stick broke in half, to me. The stick broke in half. If they called it that the head fell off and there was no goal,
But
I
it
think
didn't
if you
fall
take a
off.
shot
It
and your
didn't
stick
fall
gets
off
broken.
his stick on a
What?
broken stick. It didn't
What's that?
fall off. It didn't fall off the stick in
I
a
don't know.
broken
Listen,
stick.
yeah,
You know,
well, like I said, we're spending time on nonsense.
I know, but
It's a
it's a
rule.
huge. That's not nonsense because I don't even think the whip snakes ever recovered after that.
Well, come on. If they couldn't recover, then they didn't deserve to win. They didn't recover because I'll tell you why they didn't recover. It was 5-5 at half anyway.
Right.
Why they didn't recover was the guy made 20 saves. The guy made 20. Here, I'll give you the stats. If you look at the stats, and I didn't tell you whose stats they were, you
Yeah.
would think the other team won.
Right.
I'm gonna
Right?
make it quick. Can I make
They
it quick?
they outground balled them 37-26. They outshot them 53 to 20 to 32. They took 21 more shots. They had 6 more shots on goal. They had equal in turnovers. They had 7 caused turnovers to 9. The other team, Archers, had 2 more caused. Face-offs were 15-7. It's almost 70%, 65% face-off for Nardella. But his save percentage was 71.4. So that's the difference in the game. The guy's making saves at the key critical times, and
Right,
you know
right,
that's
As far
they
as
deserve it.
The
Listen,
other thing I notice about Maryland in that game at times, which went against, and I think this was to the goalie's credit for the Archer Dobson, they started to go, they started to do a lot of 2-man game, and
Yep.
there was not a lot of ball movement. It was getting stuck in
And they
guys'
lost
sticks
the
for a
energy
long
level.
time. And when the ball's stuck in guys' sticks for a long time, you end up with
Yep.
two
agree.
things. The goalie is station, he's locked in on it. So the ball's, he's not having to think about, it went over here, it went over there. He's locked in. And then and you don't get that ball movement, you don't get that player movement, and he locks in on it, and the ball gets stuck. Like, I don't think they didn't play their classic offense. I think their offense many times is they do move the ball well, the whip snakes, and share it around. They got locked into that 2-man game too much, I think.
well, it worked for them the week before. They inverted the middies sometimes. Game plan. They tried to adjust, but looking at it, that Nardella won 7 more faceoffs than the other guy. But those are short possessions.
Yeah,
I don't
it's
see
not
one.
a huge
So,
advantage.
and then if you're playing with 2-man game and one guy holding it, you might have a time. Here, I'll even look at what they keep, because they keep that stat. Touches. It was 233 touches to 241. The whips had more touches. So, you could argue they were passing the ball, but
Well, I don't think it's that. It's maybe more possessions. If you're watching within the possession, the ball was a lot of times it would get in a guy's stick, and it wasn't. To me, I didn't see it compared to how I've seen them play before.
And
When
chemistry,
you really
too.
get it whipping, it was getting stuck, and then the guy's trying to dodge through there, and then, like I say, even when he's dodging through there and he's taking a shot, it's coming from one angle where the guy is locked in. They're not getting goals where the guy's making a pass and the guy's got to try to react.
listen, you're talking about, and I don't. This has not been done before.
All right.
You look at the final score. What they have, 8, 12,
Yeah,
8.
8.
Right?
Yeah.
I mean, you're talking about they held a team under double digits in the championship, and they held the other team to 1 goal in the semis.
Yeah.
So clearly their defense is strong, and the goalie was a big part of that.
Right.
Even when teams were getting good shots, the guy was, look, it was well earned. People didn't know the last weekend. Tommy Schreiber gets hurt the first game. He's out. They had a rally. Give them credit. With
Well,
their
listen, they are built to be a successful team, especially from the back end, and they do have and they do have a lot of weapons. You got to give it to the kid from Penn State, Grant Ament, switching positions, played midfield most of the year, still was very
Who
effective.
won the MVP
You
of the
know,
game?
the
The
goalie,
goalie.
obviously.
He got it 2 years in a row now.
Wow. All
And
right.
so, would you consider him? Has he supplanted
So,
Blaze as
yeah.
the guy now?
Well, obviously they made Blaze
Yeah.
the goalie of the year, but I think the guy is happier to be not goalie of the year and win the MVP and the championship.
2 years in a row.
Right.
Yeah, I take the 2 titles
So,
over. Right.
I think he can live with that.
Yeah, he definitely can. He definitely can for sure.
What do you think about energy level? These guys. I mean, what happens to some of these teams where they just fall apart in the second half? They can't score. They can't. Are these coaches making the adjustments they need? Sometimes I think you got to play different players, maybe younger players in there, and create more. To me, you guys are the experts. They look dull at times, so
Well,
dull.
I just think that when you get into the playoffs, defense rises up. The defenses get tougher to score on, at least lately. I mean, there was some low scoring championship games from what I remember, in the past too. I mean, towards the end, when it gets into basically, you could call it fall because you're playing in September at that point,
Right.
right?
How many years
So,
this league been going on? This league, 3 years, 4?
well, this is
More
what,
than that.
5,
6,
6,
I think. Right.
6, I think,
Yeah.
yeah.
What?
So they won twice.
Arches won
Arch-
twice.
Whips
Water
won
Dogs won, and Chaos 6.
Yeah. Who was the other team? Water Dogs. Yeah.
Chaos and Water Dogs.
Right.
That's
Listen, it's entertaining, no doubt.
What do you guys like about the game? The game that you went to, Vinny. What's great? You went to this game with a bunch of friends. One of the games. I only made one game at home at Hasha. What do you like about the game? Where'd you go? Maryland? You went somewhere for a game.
You went to Fairfield.
I went to Connecticut when I saw the game right on the field at Fairfield. Yeah. No, I like the speed of the game. I like the rules.
So it was
like
fun going there.
Say again.
It was fun going there and watching.
It's you feel more energy when you're there. It's sort of the crowd is into it. They do a good job the way they play the music, the way they do it. But
How are the hot dogs? Do you have any good food at that
They have
stadium?
good food. Yeah, you would have liked it there.
I like
They have
hot
good-
dogs. Very sorry,
But I listen. I
baked
focus.
beans and hot dogs.
I like to see. I was lucky enough to get on the field that day. Rob Pennell arranged it so me and his uncle Jim Metzger could go down on the field because I wanted to see. Jim likes to watch from a little height to look down on it. I like to see field level because I like to get a sense of the speed and the stick work right up close. And these guys are impressive. They're amazing. The physicality, the speed, the whole bit. But
Listen, you guys would have a hard time making these teams, but I think that you would be able to adjust. You guys are pretty good at that. I don't know how well you would adapt in the game because of the speed and the training. Vinny, you never trained back.
I don't know what I could do. I'm 65, Smalls. I don't know how much I could do in the game.
No,
right
I'm
now.
saying I'm trying to give you some pointers here. Jesus Christ, I can't ever get anything out.
I thought you were asking me now, or what are you saying?
No, I'm saying.
I'm teasing.
Oh my God! That's why I love the kid. I never can get my thoughts out. He does it every time to me. I'll forget no, but I'm saying he was a decent talent back in his day, but he was one of the good guys.
But I do this to you. You know why? You know why I do this to you? Because I don't want to talk about me. What do I got to do with it?
It's not about you. I'm saying you wouldn't be able to. You would have to go into a different training today. You couldn't survive in this league for the whole year. You think you don't think it's harder now, Steven?
First of all, I'll say this, and I'm not defending my brother because I'm definitely the guy.
Not about him being good at
I definitely wouldn't survive. But first of all, you seem to forget that when Vinny was in his years, especially years where he was frequenting the North Shore gym there up by Miracle Mile, he was in unbelievable shape. He was in better shape than most of the guys that are probably playing now, even. Who did you think he was just not training? The guy was going to the gym every night. The guy was a freak. Ask Lupo. Lupo was with him. He was with him. He'll tell you. Lupo would tell you.
Now listen, look, it's you're going to see a lot of guys in this league come and go. The shelf life of players in this league, unless they're complete lax rats or making a living with lacrosse, is maybe 5 years is like a long time. You got guys coming in and out of the league. There's very I would like to count the guys who are in from the get go right now. You know, Rambo's one.
What would you say that's due to, Vin?
What it's due to, I
Yeah.
think a lot has to do with travel. The travel is a little, can be rough on
What are you
guys.
saying, Steven? You guys are talking English.
Well,
I
I'm making a point. No, he's kind of making a
You said
point.
the word tutu. What is tutu?
Back when we were playing, you had a lot of lifers. What I mean lifers, these guys, everybody was, eating, breathing, and shitting lacrosse. That's all anybody wanted to do. You see the same guys in Vale. You see the same guys in here. When MLO started, you got them. They were lifers. They're just playing. Everybody.
You guys love the game, but these guys are more serious today.
These guys love it too. They have to love it. All I'm saying is that you see
these guys are more like business. They're all about business today.
They're not staying in it as long. And
you guys were drinking beers. You guys were drinking beer at night, running in each other's room. Vinny was the only guy that got sleep.
What I'm saying is the shelf life of a guy at the highest level is not very long.
Right.
There's exceptions to every rule, and there's guys who came in the first year of this league and they're still there. But I can bet that when you looked at starting lineups this year, I'll bet you 30%.
I'm saying, do you think, what is that due to? Could that be due to the fact that more this generation, they were playing 1,000 times as more games when they were younger, and how college was different, so they get sick of it much faster than who enjoyed it.
Yeah, I mean, look, like I said, it's a higher level of play overall. The one thing, when I played, you played, the guys we played again, the competition, a lot of the teams we played could not compete with our team. Our team was just
my case, guys.
No,
you wouldn't last as long. Good.
That's not got nothing to do with your point. What I'm saying is, players back then, depending on this is a draft. They try to balance the teams. It was geographical when we were playing. So like you had a stud team, couple teams down in Maryland. You had, for the most part, it was always us here. But if you want to consider the whole North, you could say Brine, us, and North Hempstead was good, but they played one time for the championship in all the years.
New York was good at times.
New York got good, then they came around, So, but I'm saying, so if you really take the 8 teams, like you got 8 teams in this league, right? Is there 8?
Yeah.
So you take the best teams from back then: New York AC, Brine, Long Island, North Hempstead. That's the Northern Division, and then in the Southern Division you got Mount Washington, MLC,
Philly,
Green
MAB,
Turtle, and the MAB.
Right.
Those teams were as good as these teams. Now, you might say overall they're better. You might say they got better players than we had then. But, I don't know. The game, of course, changes. It's a different.
I'm mentioning that, Vin, but when the MLL started, I want to say it had either 6 teams, so it was slightly smaller at first, but which PLL was too. So it was similar. You could look at the early PLL and MLL.
The talent was concentrated. The talent got concentrated.
But you don't have guys like T today, guys that score 46, 47 points.
Smalls. Our Lizard roster the first year when we won it. And by the way, we beat a team that beat us twice during the year.
Right.
I'll tell you right now, I could put a team that would beat your team. I could put a team together right now that would blow you guys away, a 10-man roster. Your first 5 would be good.
First of all, you don't have 10-man roster. You're not playing with 10 guys. You're not
20 guys, whatever. I can put a roster together to beat you guys.
In the pro league, you got 16 to 18 guys. So at any one time, we could put out there a offense of Gary Gate, Paul Gate, Casey Powell, A.J. Hogan. Well, you're talking about every guy I named so far is in the Hall of Fame. On defense, same thing. Hall of Famers. Sal in the goal, Pat on defense with Gagliardi. What are you talking about? These guys were studs. And we lost games. We got beat. Those other teams they were loaded too.
Yeah, they were loaded. They were. There was a lot
These
of good
young
teams.
guys are rocket ships today. You're not going to cover a guy like Teat. They're so good at what they do. Playing in Canada, coming here.
Okay,
I just think
that's your
he'd
opinion.
lose games.
That
I don't think he'd be that dominant like you think you would. I just don't think
nobody
so.
said dominant. You're saying dominant. You went from we can't even play to being dominant.
No, but I think you had greats. There's no taking away that they're not great. I just think they're so efficient today with their scoring, like Teat and these guys. I could put a roster together, 15 guys here to your 15. I see them. I see it. I see like 70-30 only because the
Okay,
shape.
all right. He, I think, had a monster year. I think he's phenomenal. Then you got guys like Pinnell. You got guys like that. You think they're any better than Mikey and Casey Powell and Ryan Powell?
Yeah, I do.
There's more guys than that. You do?
Yeah.
Well, I think if you probably had a conversation with a lot of lacrosse guys,
Pure scoring in this league.
You keep talking about pure scoring, but and you talk
Who are you
about
going to put defend on him?
I'll give you a perfect example, and he coaches in the league, right? John Grant Jr., when he was 40 years old, the guy was scoring 8 goals in a game, and towards the championship game in his last year. He didn't score 8 goals in a game when we were playing when he was like in his younger 20s, you know? So what changed? Did he get that much better? You know? What was it?
You guys
So
are not going to come in and dominate the game like you did years ago. You'd still be very good.
Again, you move the line again. This is what you always do. You started the conversation by saying we could barely even play in the game.
I don't think I'd say 70-30.
Training, this,
play
that.
10 games,
Now
you
you're
win
saying
3.
we wouldn't dominate the game. Nobody is dominating the game because the talent level is so good. That's why these games are so close. That's why
what I'm saying. Yeah, the games are one. Right. Like I'm saying, if you had your guys back then in the league now, you had 3 or 4 teams back then, you'd be just maybe making it like these other teams. I don't see you dominating the league. I can't see it.
Again, he's dominating the league. He keeps saying the same thing over and over.
You guys are losing. You guys are not understanding. Listen, I know. I respect your game, but the talent level is so good now. You'd get beat. You would get beat.
I will say that watching the other thing that's been coming around now is the. I mean, they flipped right into this World Box Championship, and you know what's interesting, and I think I was always really curious how many guys. You know, we did the crossover. We did both. You know, there were definitely a number of guys who had done both, that did MLL and did, NLL or MILL prior to that. Guys were playing, in one, and then when the 2 leagues were going, some guys definitely did both. There were more guys. I wonder how many guys are actually doing that now. I know there's not as many teams, but Brennan O'Neill got drafted. Other guys got drafted. I hope I see them, that they play. The U.S. team had a game with Canada in the round robin of it, and it was a
8-8 after the third quarter. They're doing very well.
They are doing well. There's no question. They'll probably
They're getting better. They're getting better.
Well, they've never been in the championship game, so hopefully, that they've made that that leap, and maybe that you start with getting to the championship game. And they got to go through some good teams to do that. What were you
disappeared in the fourth quarter? The fourth quarter, they were right there. I watched the whole game. They disappeared. The Canadians they got that better, but they're getting better. No doubt the USA is good. Now here's another thing.
They never beat the Haudenosaunee before, and they got their first victory.
I'll tell you
they'll
one
probably
thing.
have to play them again, but that's a big hurdle. That's a progression.
The U.S. team of years ago ain't beating this USA team. That's for sure. That's a different quality.
Listen, most people think that this might be the strongest box team they put together.
I think it is. I definitely think it is.
No doubt, Vin. And they just lost it in the fourth quarter because Vinny told me about the game. I turned it on.
They have high hopes. I think, obviously, watching that game, they know they could play with them. They, like you said, it was a game into the third quarter. The other team, You know, they're still a
They
little
got
more
tired.
slick,
It looked like
a
they
little
got
more
tired in the
experienced.
fourth.
They might have got tired. You know, we'll see. They switch goalies. They'll have to make a decision who'll
Plus
start.
the Canadians, they know how to use their body. They hold you with the stick more. There's so many different things in the game that watch it.
Yeah,
But they're
but
definitely,
they're learning. We'll see. Listen, they
yeah, they
we
can't, they're
have
better.
more experienced guys, and they're
Yeah.
getting better at the game. So
I think that the game itself, though, I mean, the goalies are getting, to me, I feel like the goalies are just way too big. You know, it's probably because the evolution of the sticks and the accuracy that they're able to do, so that they, they keep putting pads on these guys. But, when your top defensive player is like 5 or 6 yards from the goal, it's everything is like compacted. It's like,
yeah.
how
Oh,
do you
they
get
definitely
something in there? They
they
can't shoot
definitely.
a shot from the outside. It's very hard to get.
Well, the U.S. did put some in, and sometimes it worked against them as screens, But these shots, like it's like the ball had eyes. They were like going right inside the pipe.
Right,
Couldn't blame the goalie on them. I don't think he could even see the shot with all the traffic in front of him. But
right.
that's part of how they score. You
I got a
know.
question for Steven and Benny. Can I jump in here? So since you have in the box league and you don't have the long stick, I wouldn't be drafting that many defenders. I'd rather have a midfielder like a Vinny Sombrado of years ago, or like the guy from Cornell, your good friend, the dog doctor, that played both
No, but
ways.
there are a lot of guys who play long stick D and even close D. They're good at this game because they're physical. They use them. They substitute so quickly. They're really only used on the defensive side of the field,
Right.
and they do a little transition, but they run right to the bottom. These guys are rough. They got
I used to
size.
laugh. I used to laugh, to be honest, and I'm not taking a shot at the Canadians, like the Toronto defensive Canadians, because they always used to many times beat our ass. But it almost looked like some of them back in the day. It was like they didn't even seem like they could handle a stick, but because of the way the rules were, they were so big, they would just block you from picking the ball up, and the shot
Yeah,
clock would run out.
Right.
When it went against the wall, they would just go like this.
No,
And
I remember one time
how
we
much
played when
fun.
we first opened that Air Canada Center. We played them
Come
up
on,
there.
so you get
right,
$1 million.
So packed in, it was like they had three goalies in the cage. Half our shots were hitting guys on the way to
Okay.
the goal.
right,
Come on, let's
right,
say that.
exactly. Oh, he's getting cut out. I can't. He's driving me crazy. This guy.
Yeah, he,
He's
he
he's he's get. We got to call Tash.
yeah,
He's
we're pretty.
preoccupied. We're doing a test run. We're gonna get Tash in there and see.
We're gonna have tryouts.
He's not right. We're gonna have tryouts for the
He's not.
third guy because he's just not serious enough.
He's
This
not.
is too distracting. You're too distracting.
What's
Who
going
could
on?
do
I was
anything with you?
what
You're
I
shutting the
do.
thing. You're having conversations on the side.
Turn out left-handed. All right, go ahead, guys. Go ahead. Let's get into it here. The other thing I
What are,
was saying,
what are you talking about? What are you talking about?
which I'm talking about three different things here. I'm talking about the field game, that, and now the sixes. If you want to talk about sixes,
Right.
that we get blown away with the Canadians.
That's a whole different story.
We
Right?
haven't learned the goddamn thing how to score what the Canadians do. I can tell you that. We're getting a full ass whipping in that league.
I
You'll
wouldn't.
never beat them.
I wouldn't bet on that. We
Oh,
just got to. We just got to work on the substitution patterns better,
we
and
don't
we'll be
shoot
fine.
right, Vinny. The shots
They'll,
are not right.
they'll shoot fine. Don't worry about it.
No, I
I
think
got
I think
to do it.
Vinny's right more on that. The reason why is the box, because we're not great at maybe the full substitution situation. The goalies, having a big goalie, we have a good goalie too. The guy played well. It's hard to score even for them. So if he
You
plays
guys
well,
know
he
how
can
to
keep you
screen
in
the
the
goalie.
game.
These guys are experts at it. They come around, they screen it well, they pass it, and they throw over the goalie too. And
The, the other
the
the
guy
other
stuck.
thing the other thing you don't see, Vin, is you never really see breakaways in this game anymore.
No,
You know
no.
they can't
That
get a
was
breakaway.
our substitution patterns when we played indoor were horrible. We gave up more breakaway goals because we
Well, we
don't.
used to get breakaways too, though.
No, we did, but because the other team, a lot of times when there was a lot of Americans, they were just as bad at us at it. You know, we were terrible at the shot, hitting the wall, banking off, going to a guy and going. There he goes again. Oh God, this guy. But yeah, listen, it's an adjustment. It's
We
like, look,
can't get a link.
we
What's his
we always
contribution at this point? We
we
got to
always
know
had
what Smalley's
we always
contribution
had
is.
the advantage in field lacrosse because they didn't have the experience in playing on a bigger field, right?
Right, right.
So when
That's true.
when there was something new to them, they had skills. Forget it. They always had skills, and they were
But you
dangerous.
guys play. You can play a lot, but the Canadians are playing a lot more in the box. There, they know how to go. It's like boxing out basketball. What?
They they're experts at the box. What I just said was they weren't. They had to adjust to the field game. They had to adjust. The field game was a lot different for them.
Right.
So they adjusted. Listen, they always had great stick skills. That's why they were able to upset the U.S. in 1978 in the World Games.
That game was a bad sportsman game. Very bad sportsmanship in the last game for the USA players.
Why the fighting?
What?
The fighting at the end?
So stupid. It's like juvenile. The kid's going to be out for 2 games now. The other kid, he's like grabbing the guy's face. You can't grab somebody's face, man. You pull the guy's neck out. So stupid.
Oh, you're done. Vinny stopped because your phone, something with your phone. You
My phone?
you stopped. Vinny's done. It's only me and Smalley now. I have to finish just with Smalley.
Hey, listen.
He
Don't
got
laugh.
tapped out.
I'm
He got tapped out. This is what happens with low memory.
Who?
Smalls, what do you got to say?
What?
We shut. Vinny got shut down. He got shut.
He can still talk. I'll give a shout out here. My shout outs is someday to you, Vinny. Oh, don't worry. I'm working on it. Someday you'll look up and I'll be coaching either in the MLL or on the sideline of one of the big college games. Don't laugh at that, bro. I can add a lot of value.
Wait a minute. I wanna understand this again. I want to get more into this. You're going to be coaching a college team?
Someday I'm going to be coaching college. Yes.
What day is that going to be?
I believe I can be a huge asset to coaching a team and get these guys to the next level. Absolutely.
What would be the next level?
Winning.
Winning what?
A lot of programs don't have winning attitudes. They don't know how to win.
See, he's a motivator. That's what you do.
That's part of it, but it's mindset too. You go out there thinking, you go out there thinking you're going to lose. You're going to lose. Go out there thinking you're going to win.
Well, I think most teams. That's the greatest part of when the lacrosse season starts. When everybody's 0-0, everybody's got a belief that they can win.
Can you at least hear us, Stephen?
Huh?
What? You're killing me right now. You of all people. Oh, by the way, I want to give you a shout out. Your things are remarkable. The stuff that you do, your digital stuff, your anti-emojis, whatever you're doing. I don't know the vocabulary. Steven, you are absolutely insane. The stuff is so funny. What you did for the guy, McCory, the guy from Maryland, the coach, that's the funniest I've ever seen in my life.
Tillman?
That nothing will ever top Tillman.
Yeah, Tillman's was great. Well, we have fun. There's a lot of creative people. I have to say, there's a lot of creative people out there. You look and see all the different things that guys do, and some of it is hilarious. It really is. But we're having fun. My shout out. I'm going to give a shout out. I don't know if you definitely didn't know this guy. There was a New York Tech player. He passed away recently. He had a battle with cancer. Eugene Goodrich. He was a New York Tech guy from Farmingdale. Good guy. Again, condolences to the family. Condolences to the New York Tech family. It's always tough when we lose somebody. That's why we say Lax Life, right? Smalls. I know a lot of people wanted to pick up those Lax Life hats, but you didn't get that link out yet, so they're waiting. We're
gonna get it. Stay hopeful, Vinny. Stay hopeful. I want to give a shout out to the kid from Michigan, Josh Mahalan, and his son.
Okay.
His family. That fucking guy loves his son more than anybody I've ever seen in the history of the sport.
Greatest guy.
He drove to Michigan. He calls me, motherfucker, where are you? I'm in the Silver Lakes. You know, they have lakes up there, Stephen.
Right,
You don't know about.
exactly.
They have the best lakes in the world. I said, where are you? He goes, oh, I'm driving by one of the lakes. I said, what? He would drive up. He'd never missed a game.
And I think they're gonna have, look, they had some great success last year. Now they're gonna, see it, it's
championships.
Aiden's last year. Now this is this is a year to maybe even hopefully maybe a possible Final Four, maybe.
What they've done for Aiden and him and the wife and getting through and going up there. The kid's unbelievable, man. Imagine going to Michigan. He goes to all the football games.
What a school. Basketball's coming. That'll be a great thing for him. Listen, Michigan.
What a shout out. Yeah.
And teams there are more teams, that are having the success. Maybe they start adding more, competitive, Big 10 traditional football teams. Maybe Northwestern or somebody starts really, getting a men's program and getting it going. That's the growth.
Awesome, man.
The growth of lacrosse.
Hey, Steven, I'm going to have a black and white ice cream soda, something your father would have known. I used to get it.
Hey, the man, by the way, I don't know if you saw the video. Another shout out to our man Kiss down in Florida, Steve Kiss.
The man.
Kiss.
Told me how to stand, Kiss.
He had a video. He had a video of how to do the egg cream. Since you botched your egg cream, he had a video of the egg cream with the Betts syrup. He had the real deal.
God, yeah.
Because you were getting a lot of bad reviews with your egg cream creation that you made. It didn't really foam up. It was looking a little. It's not one of your better efforts.
Poor Vinny, you silenced Vinny. Look, he looks like a sad soul.
we silenced Vinny. Well, for all future guests, this is why you have to have a clear phone. If you're doing it from a phone, you have to have good internet. You got to have space. But we are going to go in the fall. We got a number of guests. We're getting a lot of calls. We're going to arrange some guests. There's a lot of guys out there. Recently, we're going to get Tommy Marichek on the program. I want to know what's going down at IMG down there, where he's at. I know.
Whoa! He's coaching IMG now.
Yeah, he's the head. He's the director down at IMG.
Whoa! He's the director or he's coaching?
I think he does both. He does both. So we'll find out when I want to ask all of the things that are going on down there, and how it works in that operation, because it seems like such an interesting model of the prep school. How they, especially even in the other sports with obviously basketball and football, how they're a factory to major colleges, and I think the idea is that that's where they'll be there. But we'll talk to him about it. A number of different.
All right, we gotta get involved with all these different teams. We'll be down in Maryland.
You gotta get your interest level. You're too distracted. You're all over the place.
Excuse me.
You have to focus. You need to focus.
I do put my heart and soul into it.
You do? Okay.
I really do. Listen, Stephen, for the last 4 years, what I've done for this sport. Come on.
There it is. That's what Vinny was waiting for.
What?
He was waiting for the last 4 years.
I've given my heart and soul into the sport.
Oh, my Lord.
What?
You have. You came on
Stephen, what haven't I done?
No, you've done it all.
I went to every event. I met every coach in the game. I'm just tailing a little bit into basketball now.
And the rumor is you got big plans for the Final Four this year.
Oh, yeah. This is the biggest year. My wife's coming down. They got shopping and everything. It's going to cost me forget about what it's going to cost me for the 2 suites. I got to buy the wife a Fendi bag, and I got to buy one of those other bags. But they got good stores down there. I'm coming for the stores. I love it. Can't wait.
That'll be in May of 25 at Gillette. Correct?
I will tell you, I hate to say it now, but I'm rooting for Syracuse to go to the Final Four.
Okay, well, listen, we'll be able to. The amazing part is that I'll be coming around faster than you could imagine.
What are you talking about? It's right here. I'm already into 2025 doing online stores.
Exactly.
We're killing it.
It's people are gearing up, and it's going to be, right now the fall ball season is happening, so maybe we'll go check out some fall ball. I know they're going to play some at Hofstra. We should take a ride over.
Yeah, Michigan's also coming to. Next week is maybe this week is Hofstra.
Yeah.
No, I'm sorry. this Friday, I got the Parents Club big party. It's next week. Yeah,
Okay.
it starts already. Season starts.
All right. We put up your picture. I put up your picture with Brecci and Smokey when you were down in Carolina.
That was good, man.
So the fans got to see you down there. When you
Took me right on the field. Oh my God, Duke and Carolina got me right on the field. Then the next day they took me to a North Carolina basketball game. Oh man, it's great.
You are a celebrity. Nobody's done more than you in the last 4 years.
I'm not the biggest thing in life. Rule number one to be successful business, anything you do, you got to be nice to people. And I got that from my father, Joe Big Joe Smalley.
There you go.
Chaminade Joe, 1949. All right, I got to give this computer to the wife. Vinny, we love you, kid.
We'll be back with a guest. The fall episodes are going to include a guest. Make sure you go and subscribe so you know when the next episodes are coming. Wait a minute, I got to give a little sign off.
Can we get Josh Mahalan, the coach? The coach from Michigan on.
Sure, why not? We're going to see the guys up in November, too, when they come up to the island, when they're at Caniac.
Oh, that's a good point. Yeah.
Powered by Riverside FM.
Oh, there we go. That's our time. I'll give a little video going out the door. All right, guys, signing off.
All right, good luck. Have a great night. Love you guys. You're the best.